you end up hearing about, reading about, learning about most of the world while you're in India, except for Latin America. Very neglected part of the world for India and for Indians. So I actually wanted to find out for myself, a little bit more about this part of the world. It was curiosity that piqued my interest, right? And what got me to the region was curiosity. But what has kept me on is probably the people.
In fact, the largest diaspora in the Spanish-speaking Latin America is Panama, the largest, but it's also very thick.
So here it dates back to a couple of waves of migration. The first of which began with the railways. After that was with the Panama Canal.
Many Indians migrated here to build the railroad and then the Panama Canal. The railroad and the canal, the Indian population that came to build was very relevant. In fact, there were very few Panamanians building the railroad and the Panama Canal. The majority were Indians and Chinese, and also obviously people from the Caribbean island, the small Caribbean islands, Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica, and they brought also part of the culture to our country.
You have India Arrival Day in every single Caribbean country, which marks the date when the first ships came from India and landed in the Caribbean in that country. And after that, a little later on, post-independence India, you had a few people who came specifically from the Sindhi community to free trade zones in Panama, right? In Latin America, actually.
It's for the Indian diaspora. My analysis is that many of them, the majority, are business-oriented communities, such as Gujaratis and Sindhis. So they have integrated in the growth of the country, but more focused on the trade aspect.
La integración ha sido muy buena. Nuestros paisanos usualmente no dan problema. Ellos aportan, pero no dan problema. Y por eso son bien recibidos en este país.
India does not even have a diaspora in most of Latin America. But in many countries, including countries like Brazil, Mexico, you don't really have many people from India who live there, right? The exception is Panama. In Panama, you actually do have quite a big and important Indian diaspora. And this is something I did not know until I actually came to Panama and had interaction.
Panama, it's a country that hosts many diasporas. It's a multicultural country. It's a very small country with so many diasporas operating and being part of the, let's say, the economic growth of the country.
It's the only country in the world where they have a separate name for Indians that is not the name that is used in that language. So in all of Latin America, Spanish speaking Latin America, they refer to Indians as Hindu. So the H is silent, is basically Hindu, right? And that goes to the Hindu civilization. But of course, as most people today know, that's not a very accurate depiction of India. Not everyone in India is a Hindu. So here in Panama, the word they use is Indostana. Association is called Comunidad Indostana.
My age and my generation are getting, are becoming to start exploring politics. So more and more you will see them getting involved. And that's a good thing because the diasporas in Panama have always played that role of a bridge between Panama and the country of their ancestors.
Le puedo decir que nuestra comunidad es una comunidad muy activa, muy honesta, muy trabajadora, laboriosa, y eso nos distingue de muchas otras comunidades. Aparte de eso, pues tenemos la comunidad indostana, pues ha traído a Panamá todo lo que es la gastronomía hindú. Y eso
Interesante.
nos ha permitido que la gente conozca más
Ajá.
los sabores de la India.
There is already examples of there are examples of the Indian government trying to use the diaspora to cultivate a better relationship in the Caribbean. The private sector has been engaging with Latin America for decades now, for about 3 decades. Yeah. Um, like the first time Indian pharmaceutical companies went to Brazil, they were invited by the Brazilian government, in fact, and started providing, let's say, affordable healthcare, affordable pharmaceutical products to the US, sorry, to Brazil was about 30 years ago. Yeah. So 97, 98 is when they already started exporting pharmaceutical products to Brazil. And since about a decade now, India is the biggest provider of generic pharma products to Brazil. This is just one example. There are about 15, 20 examples across sectors like this, right?
I think it's a matter of time. India presence in Latin America will increase. And then obviously the commonalities between a huge democracy like India and Latin American countries with common values is very important too. And Panama will always see India as that partner in Asia that can help us balance the situation between the US and China.
Y ese fue el tema más difícil para ellos, pero gracias a Dios, hoy
Ujú,
se han abierto muchas puertas, sobre todo que
ujú.
el gobierno de India está colaborando muchísimo para el desenvolvimiento y la educación en Panamá. Están otorgando becas, están participando más activamente con nosotros como una comunidad y una sola familia.
I lived in India. I have worked in India and I visit India very often. So I keep a very strong connection with the country.